Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Budaya, Salam Kebajikan, Rahayu.
The Honorable Head of the National Archives of the Republic of Indonesia, Dr. Mego Pinandito, MN. Principal Secretary of the National Archives of Republic of Indonesia, Ms. Rini Agustiani, SH, MAP.
Deputy of National Archival System and Information of the National Archives of the Republic of Indonesia, Ms. Wiwi Dianasari, SSI, MA.
Deputy of National Records and Archive Governance, National Archive of the Republic of Indonesia, Dr. Andi Abu Bakar, SIP, MSI.
The Honorable Director of Learning and Student Affairs, Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia, Dr. Beni Bandana Jaya, ST, MT.
The Honorable Director of Archival System Directory, National Archive of the Republic of Indonesia, Dr. Andes Florentinus Cristiartono, MM.
The Honorable Dean of the Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia, Dr. Bondan Kanumoyoso, SSM Home.
The Honorable Speakers, Emeritus Professor, Department of Human-Centered Computing, Faculty of Information Technology, Monash, University, Australia, Professor Sue McCamish, PhD.
Researcher, Victoria University of Wellington, New Zealand, Alfred Chikomba, PhD.
Dean of Faculty of Adab and Cultural Sciences, Senior Lecturer at Library Study, Program Universitas Islam Negeri Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta, Profesor Dr. Nurdin Laudu, SAG, SSMA.
Head of Postgraduate Program in Department of Library and Information Science, Universitas Indonesia, Muhammad Prabu Wibowo Eshum, MSc, PhD.
The Honorable Moderator, Senior Archivist of the National Archive of the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Raistiwar Pratama, SSMA.
Distinguished lecturers of Department of Library and Information Science, Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia.
Academic support staff of the Department of Library and Information Science, Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia.
Our esteemed students of the Department of Library and Information Science and the Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, first of all, let us offer our praise and gratitude to God Almighty, the most gracious and the most merciful, the creator and sustainer of the universe. And my name is Sania Salsabila Wijaya.
And my name is Melanie Mega Juita. We are postgraduate students in the Department of Library and Information Science, Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia.
It is truly an honor and precious opportunity for us to serve as your master's ceremony this morning, Wednesday, 24th September 2025, at our grand event.
The Fourth International Symposium on Document, Records, and Archives
with the theme
Archival Science and Archival Studies. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause.
This event is organized by National Archive of the Republic of Indonesia and joint collaboration with the Department of Library and Information Science, Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia, which is being held in a hybrid format.
Excellencies, distinguished guests, participants, ladies and gentlemen, for everyone's safety and convenience, please watch the safety induction video of the Auditorium Building 1, Tuti Herati Nurhadi, Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia.
Selamat datang di Fakultas Ilmu Pengetahuan Budaya Universitas Indonesia. Sesuai dengan persyaratan K3 yang berlaku di Universitas Indonesia, kami dari Unit Pelayanan K3L FIB UI akan menyampaikan induksi keselamatan. Saat ini, kita sedang berada di auditorium Gedung 1 FIB UI. Penting untuk kita mengetahui prosedur evakuasi apabila terjadi keadaan darurat. Ruangan ini memiliki 3 pintu yang dapat berfungsi sebagai pintu darurat, 2 di bagian depan dan 1 di bagian belakang. Ruangan ini juga dilengkapi dengan alat pemadam api ringan atau APAR yang terletak di setiap sudut ruangan. Apabila terjadi kebakaran, Anda diharapkan untuk tetap tenang dan jangan panik. Segera keluar melalui pintu darurat menuju titik berkumpul. Titik berkumpul berada di halaman belakang dan selasar samping kiri gedung ini. Apabila terjadi gempa bumi, lindungi diri Anda dengan meja atau kursi di dekat Anda, lalu tunggu sampai keadaan benar-benar kondusif. Anda juga dapat menghubungi nomor darurat Universitas Indonesia, yaitu di nomor 14001. Demikian induksi keselamatan ini kami sampaikan. Jangan lupa untuk selalu utamakan keselamatan dan kesehatan diri Anda. Terima kasih atas perhatian Anda dan selamat beraktivitas.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, let us now rise to sing together our national anthem, Indonesia Raya, followed by the archival march, which will be led by Miss Flasadina Murad. Ladies and gentlemen, please be rise.
tugas penyelenggaraan kearsipan. Tak kenal lelah, kembangkan diri, terus berinovasi, melestarikan memori masa, wujudkan kebangkitan negeri. Kami menjamin tersedianya kasih sebagai bukti akuntabilitas kinerja, mampu hadapi segala tantangan agar jadi demi kejayaan Indonesia. Kearsipan Republik Indonesia. Kami lembaga kearsipan Republik Indonesia, siap membangun bidang kearsipan sebagai jati diri bangsa kita. Selalu responsif, anti simpatik, bersikap profesional, sinergikan semangat perubahan, satukan langkah dalam menjaya. Kami menjamin tersedianya aksi sebagai bukti akuntabilitas kinerja, mampu hadapi segala tantangan, bangga jadi bangsa Indonesia. Lembaga kearsipan Republik Indonesia, junjung tinggi identitas bangsa, jaga warisan nasional dan budaya demi kejayaan Indonesia. Kearsipan Republik Indonesia.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed to the organizing committee report to be delivered by the Director of the Archival System Directorate, National Archives of the Republic of Indonesia, Dr. Florentinus Kristiartono, MM. We kindly invite Mr. Florentinus to deliver the report.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. May peace and prosperity be with us all. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Budaya, greeting of goodwill. Distinguished and Honorable Head of the National Archive of the Republic Indonesia, Bapak Mego Pinandito, Principal Secretary, the National Archive of the Republic Indonesia, Ibu Rini Agustiani, Deputy for National Archive System and Information, the National Archive of the Republic Indonesia, Ibu Wiwi Dinasari, Deputy for the Governance of National Archive of the Republic Indonesia, Bapak Andi Abu Bakar, Dean of the Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia, Bapak Dr. Bondan Kanuyoso, SSM Hum, distinguished speakers, Professor Sue McCamis, PhD from Monash University, Alfred Sikoba, PhD from Victoria University of Wellington, New Zealand, Dean of the Faculty of Adab and Humanities, State Islamic University of Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta, Bapak Profesor Dr. Nurdin Laugu, Head of the Graduate Program, Department of the Library and Information Science, Faculty of Humanities, University of Indonesia, Bapak Muhammad Prabu Wibowo, SHUM, MSc PhD, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen. A very good morning to all of you. First and foremost, let us pray to the Almighty God for His blessing. We could gather today to attend this international symposium to discuss about documents, records, and archives in relation with science and study. It is my pleasure to welcome you today to the 4th International Symposium on Documents, Records, and Archive, jointly organized by the Directorate of Archival System, National Archive of the Republic of Indonesia, and the Faculty of Humanities, University of Indonesia. Allow me to brief you about the rationale and the objective about this event today. Ladies and gentlemen, as stipulated in the regulation of the National Archive of the Republic of Indonesia, number 2 of 2024 regarding organization and the governance of the National Archive of the Republic of Indonesia, the Directorate of Archive System is responsible for conducting the formulation and implementation of policy in the area of archive system on a national scope. Amongst those responsibilities are to publish an archival journal and to conduct an archival conference, specifically on conducting the International Symposium on Documents, Records, and Archive, or ISDRA. Therefore, in fiscal year of 2025, the Directorate of Archival System, National Archive of the Republic of Indonesia, in collaboration with the Faculty of Humanities, University of Indonesia, is conducting the 4th ISDRA on today, September 24, 2025, in the Faculty of Humanities, University of Indonesia. With the theme, Archival Science and Archival Studies, the 4th ISDRA is intended to be a forum for archival observers that consists of professional, academics, researchers, practitioners, and of archival to meet and together for discussion, sharing and exchanging ideas, knowledge, and experience relating to the good governance of archival. The 4th ISDRA is also a forum for call for paper presentation for the purpose of publishing the archival journal that is managed by the Directorate of Archive System, National Archive of the Republic of Indonesia. The archive journal itself was first officially published in 2005 and has received an accreditation status as a Science and Technology Index, or SINTA, rank 4 in 2025 from the Higher Education Directorate, the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia. The 4th ISDRA will be held in hybrid format, and more than 200 people are expected to attend both physically and virtually to this symposium. This symposium invites resource persons or speakers, both domestically and internationally, namely from State Islamic University of Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta, Monash University of Australia, Victoria University of Wellington, New Zealand, and the Faculty of Humanities, University of Indonesia, including the Director of Learning and Student Affairs from the Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia as a keynote speaker. This today International Symposium will consist of 2 sessions following the opening remarks. Session 1 is a panel session that will present 4 speakers from State Islamic University of Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta, Monash University, Australia, Victoria University of Wellington, New Zealand, and University of Indonesia. Session 2 will be conducted afterwards in parallel session, in which the symposium will be divided into 3 classrooms for the purpose of call for paper presentation. Each classroom will present 7 presenters or writers of a call for paper with 3 different topics: archival science, archival studies, and digital archival. Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude my brief report, allow me to convey that by embracing collaborative practices, actions, and experiences among archivists, we do hope that all participants, as well as people who are interested in the preservation, access, digitalization, and the management of unique and historical records, could gain benefit from the insight as presented by speakers and presenters today. Finally, I would like to thank you to all committee for your valuable and insightful recommendation to support our effort to conduct this international symposium. I'm confident that from our discussion today will guide and enrich our future collaboration and cooperation in the area of archival. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we will now hear the welcoming remarks from the Dean of the Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia, Dr. Bondan Kanumoyoso, SSM Hum. To Dr. Bondan, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Budaya, salam kebajikan, Rahayu, Rahayu, Rahayu. Selamat pagi. Distinguished guest, the head of the National Archive of the Republic of Indonesia, Dr. Mega Pinandito, the Principal Secretary of the National Archive of the Republic of Indonesia, Ms. Rini Agustiani, SH.MAP, the Deputy of our Archival Information System, Ms. Wiwi Dianasari, MA, the Deputy for Archival Governance, Dr. Andi Abubakar, SPMC, the Director of Learning and Student Affairs at the Directorate General of Higher Education, Science and Technology, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Beni Bandananjaya, STMT, Director of Archival System, Dr. Andes Florentinus Christiantono, MM, honor invitees whom I cannot mention one by one due to the time constraint, and respected academics and authors and all the students who I'm proud of. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you very much to all honorary guests who are gathered here today, this morning, in this important and meaningful event. The 4th International Symposium on Document, Records and Archival Science and Archival Studies held at the Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia, in collaboration between the National Archive of the Republic of Indonesia and the Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia. We warmly welcome all participants, both those who are present here on campus and those who joining us virtually from various regions. We feel honored and delighted to host this very significant event and very important event. Ladies and gentlemen, the Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia is very pleased with the convening of this symposium. Today's gathering is an important forum to raise awareness and deepen our understanding that archives are not merely administrative records, but also repositories of knowledge that documented the historical journey, identity, and cultural values of a nation. Furthermore, archives serve as a vital documentary heritage that preserve cultural knowledge, both tangible and intangible. In line with the national life, this symposium will highlight how cultural knowledge recorded in archive can be utilized for education, cultural diplomacy, national identity, and sustainable development. It also acts as a bridge across generations, ensuring that archive become a medium of intergenerational knowledge transfer, so that culture is not only preserved as a memory, but also continuously revitalized and developed. On this occasion, allow me to extend my highest appreciation and gratitude to all parties, both from the Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia, and the National Archive of the Republic of Indonesia, particularly the Director of Archival System, for their excellent collaboration, and we regard this cooperation as both a foundation and a mandate of great importance in advancing cultural knowledge and archival studies. We strongly support the vision of archival science and archival studies, which provide methods for managing, preserving, and authenticating archives, so they may serve as a valuable resource in the humanities, not only presenting the chronology of events, but also offering diverse perspectives and collective memories of the many dimensions of our national state and cultural life. In closing, we sincerely hope that the International Symposium will proceed in open and constructive spirit, making a tangible contribution to the advancement of cultural knowledge. And the Faculty of Humanities Universitas Indonesia is committed to continuously supporting priority and strategy
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is truly an honor for all of us to hear the speech from the Director of Learning and Student Affairs, Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology, Dr. Beni Bandana Jaya STMT, which will be delivered through a video. We kindly invite you to watch the following video.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Head of the National Archives of the Republic of Indonesia, Directors of Universitas Indonesia and the academic community, distinguished speakers from Indonesia and abroad, archivists, academics, researchers, and all respected guests. First of all, let us thank to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala who gives us health and guidance to gather in this important symposium. At the same time, I would like to bring warm greetings from Professor Stella Christie, the Deputy Minister of Higher Education, Science and Technology, who highly appreciates with this fourth ISDRA organized by ANRI in collaboration with Universitas Indonesia. Since she cannot attend today, I am honored to deliver this keynote speech on her behalf. Ladies and gentlemen, as we know that archives are not only historical records but living knowledge. In fact, they are the nation memory supporting transparency, accountability, and sustainable development. Moreover, international standards from ICA and ISO remind us that archives are not limited to media or format, but represents complete and reliable information. Therefore, archival science now stands as an independent discipline with its own principles and methods, from the records life cycles and continuum model to the principle of provenance and original order. With this in mind, the theme of this year's symposium, the future of archival study program, is highly relevant. Today, in the digital era, archives must be managed professionally as a source of knowledge, legal evidence, and cultural memory. Furthermore, with the rapid growth of digital technology, big data, and artificial intelligence, the demand of the archival expertise is increasing, not only in the government, but also in the private company, creative industry, and international organization. As a result, graduates of archival studies now have many opportunities. Archivists, record managers, digital curators, information governance specialists, and consultants. In Indonesia, specifically, this profession has a strong legal basis through regulation of Minister of Administrative and Bureaucratic Reform, number 48 of 2014, on the functional position of archivist. To ensure the sustainability of archival education in the future, I would like to highlight the three priorities. First is curriculum innovation, connecting archival science with digitalizations, big data, artificial intelligence, and cybersecurity. Second, cross-disciplinary collaboration, linking archives with computer science, information study, history, and public policy. And third, internationalization, by strengthening global network, research, publication, and student exchange. Distinguished participants, looking back, ISDRA has grown since 2022 from a seminar into an international symposium, closely linked to the journal Kearsipan, which achieved Sinta 4 accreditation in 2025. This shows that Indonesia is building a stronger academic ecosystem in archival science. And today, with experts from Monash University, Victoria University of Wellington, and leading Indonesian university, this forum become a bridge between local knowledge and global practices. Before I close, allow me to share 3 key messages. First of all, archives are pillars of civilizations, not only administrations. Next, archival study program must be visionary, preparing graduates from digital transformation. Finally, collaboration is essential. Governments, university, archivists, and communities must work hand in hand. That concludes my remarks. I hope this symposium will be a new milestone for Indonesia archival science and also a meaningful contribution to the global community. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi, salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. The distinguished and honorable Head of the National Archives of the Republic of Indonesia, Dr. Mego Pinandito, Master of Engineering. Head of the National Archives of the Republic of Indonesia, period 2004 until 2009, Dr. Joko Utomo, MA. Distinguished and Honorable Principal Secretary of the National Archives of the Republic of Indonesia, Mrs. Rini Agustiani, SH, MAP. Deputy for the Governance of the National Archives, the National Archive of the Republic of Indonesia, Mr. Andi Abu Bakar, SIP, MSI. Dean of the Faculty of Humanities, University of Indonesia, Mr. Dr. Bondan Kanomoyo Soenghum. Director of Learning and Student Affairs, Ministry of Higher Education, Science and Technology, Dr. Beni Bandanajaya, STMT. And distinguished speakers, Professor Sue McCamis, PhD, from Monash University, Australia, Mr. Alfred Chikomba, PhD, from Victoria University of Wellington, New Zealand, Dean of the Faculty of Adab and Humanities, State Islamic University of Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta, Professor Dr. Nurdin Laugu, SAG, SSMA, Head of the Graduate Program, Department of Library and Information Science, Faculty Humanities, University of Indonesia, Mr. Muhammad Prabu Wibowo, SHUM, MSc, PhD, all participants, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, let us express our gratitude for the presence of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the Almighty God, because with His blessing and grace, we can gather today in the event, the 4th International Symposium on Document, Records, and Archives at the University of Indonesia. Today, Wednesday, September 24, 2025, which will discuss various archival matters in relation to higher education, science, and policy. I would like also to express my gratitude for the support and collaboration between the Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia, and ANRI, which made this symposium possible. This collaboration will undoubtedly continue to develop the utilization of national archives. I also extend my thanks to the speakers who attend both in person and online. I also welcome and thank you to all the invited guests and participants. Ladies and gentlemen, on this important event, I would like to invite all of us to better understand the meaning and the significance of archives and archiving itself. Allow me to begin with a simple reflection. How often do we realize that every policy decision, every academic achievement, and even every historical event in our nations is inextricably linked to the archives? Archives are witnesses, evidence, records, and link between the past, present, and the future. Archives are no longer just piles of paper, nor mere collections or digital files, but rather records that guards the nation's collective memory. Without well-management archives, we risk losing direction, repeating the same mistakes, and even failing to maintain continuity of development. In the context of the higher education, archives have a deeper meaning. They are not merely administrative matters, but more than that, they serve as the foundation of knowledge, policy, innovation, and the identity of the university. Imagine if the research process and results, dissertation, and scientific works of lecturers, professors, and students were not properly documented. Universities would lose their intellectual heritage. Future generations would struggle to trace the ideas, new discoveries, innovation, and even criticism that emerged from the campus. Academic archives are fundamental to the development of science and technology. Much cutting-edge research worldwide stems from the discovery of previously neglected archives. In the fields of history, law, and even technology, archives are crucial and invaluable as primary data. Therefore, archives management must be positioned as a part of academic tradition, alongside teaching, research, and community service. In terms of archive utilization, the shared use of archives by academics, researchers, and policy analysts is a form of collaboration and strengthen research and studies. Archival development itself can even be used as a subject for research. Studies of disaster mitigation development, political change, improvement social conflict resolution, and improving life through a cultural approach are some of the significant benefits of archives as readily available primary data. Similarly, when the government formulates a policy, it should ideally be based on evidence or archives, known as evidence-based policy. Archival data related to the various sectors, such as higher education, significantly help us understand the trends, assess program effectiveness, and formulate new directions and methods. Thus, archives can truly ensure transparency, accountability, and policy continuity. A concrete example, in the university accreditation process, archival documentation management is a key of indicator. Without complete archives, educational institutions will find it difficult to demonstrate their performance in meeting accreditation requirements. Furthermore, institutional archives document the long history of higher education. All of this part of the dignity of academic work must not be lost. Ladies and gentlemen, in this digital era, we face new challenges as well as significant opportunities. Digital transformation opens up opportunities for more efficient, secure, and accessibilities archival management. The government, through the law number 43 of 29 concerning archives, as well as various derivative regulation, encourage all stakeholders, the central government, regional governments, universities, state-owned enterprises, community organizations, and the private sector to develop and utilize an integrated dynamic archival information system. In line with this, universities can become strategic partners with UNRI in developing this system. However, digitizing archives should not be interpreted as simply transforming document to a screen. It requires more than that: adequate technological infrastructure, competent human resources in the field of digital archiving, and the most importantly, a culture of archive awareness among the academic opportunity. Digitalization opens up opportunities for broader access to knowledge, but also demands a protection of data security and privacy. This is where higher education is challenged to lead the example, building trust digital archival governance. Distinguished guests, several strategic steps to strengthen archival governance in higher education institutions include strengthening regulation to ensure clear standards for academic archive management, developing digital infrastructure through the integration of electronic archival systems, training archival human resources to ensure every university has professional archivists, fostering research and innovation collaboration in the field of archival affairs, including through collaboration in establishing tiered archival study programs at universities. Ladies and gentlemen, today's symposium can be both a moral call and an intellectual challenge. We are required to view archives not as a burden, but as a valuable asset. Archives are the heart of civilization, the pulse of policy, and the pulse of science. Therefore, I invite all members of the academic community to make archives part of the scientific traditions, integrate archives in the policy and governance, and work together to build an archive-based higher education ecosystem rooted in science and grounded in valid data. May this symposium forum become a forum for generating fresh ideas, concrete strategies, and a shared commitment to strengthening Indonesian archives. Through this gathering of experts, researchers, and archival observers, It is hoped that this event will encourage archival observers, especially archivists, to go beyond merely carrying out technical and administrative tasks, but also to make positive contribution to the development of archival science, archival studies, and digital archiving. In closing with words, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, I officially declare the 4th International Symposium on Document, Records, and Archives at the University of Indonesia on September 24, 2025.
The symposium is now officially open. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm round of applause.
May Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala continue to bestow His mercy and blessing upon us all. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
We kindly request Ms. Wiwi to remain on the stage.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, our next agenda is the exchange of token of appreciation. We kindly invite to the stage the Principal Secretary, National Archive of the Republic of Indonesia, Ms. Rini Agustiani, SH, MAP, accompanied by the Deputy of National Archival System and Information, National Archive of the Republic of Indonesia, Ms. Wiwi Dianasari, SSI, MA, and the Dean of the Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia, Dr. Bondan Kanumoyoso, SS, MHUM, to the stage.
The first token of appreciation will be presented from the National Archives of the Republic of Indonesia to the Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia. The second token of appreciation will be presented from Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia, to National Archives of the Republic of Indonesia. We would now like to kindly invite Mr. Bondan, Ms. Rini, and Ms. Wiwi to step down from the stage and join the distinguished audience for a group photo session. Our distinguished guests, please be rise. Please squeeze to the center of the auditorium. Participants, please squeeze and move to the center of the auditorium for the group photo session.
Tiga, dua, satu. Okay, another pose. Okay, boleh. Boleh dengan tangannya salam arsip Bapak Ibu, jadi dibentuk huruf A seperti itu. Baik, 3, 2, 1. Sekali lagi dengan pose UI Bapak Ibu.
U di sebelah kanan, I di sebelah kiri.
Baik. Tiga, dua, satu. Baik, terima kasih Bapak Ibu.
Thank you very much for your cooperation. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated again and return to your places.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we have now come to the station of the 4th International Symposium on Document Records and Archive with the theme Archival Science and Archival Studies. This session will be moderated by our Honorable Moderator, Mr. Raistiwar Pratama, SSMA, Senior Archivist of the National Archive of the Republic of Indonesia.
Our distinguished speakers for today are Emeritus Professor, Department of Human-Centered Computing, Faculty of Information Technology, Monash University, Australia, Professor Sumi Kemis, PhD, joining us virtually.
Researcher, Victoria University of Wellington, New Zealand, Dr. Alfred Chikomba, joining us virtually.
Head of the Postgraduate Program, Department of Library and Information Science, Universitas Indonesia, Dr. Muhammad Prabu Wibowo, SHUM, MSc, PhD.
Dean of the Faculty of Adab and Cultural Sciences and Senior Lecturer at the Library Science Study Program, Universitas Islam Negeri Sunan Kalijaga, Yogyakarta, Profesor Dr. Nurdin Laugu, SAG, SSMA, joining us virtually.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you are welcome to ask the questions in either English or Indonesian. Bapak dan Ibu hadirin yang terhormat, dipersilakan untuk menanyakan dan menyampaikan pertanyaan baik dalam bahasa Indonesia maupun dalam bahasa Inggris.
Without further ado, let us invite to the stage our moderator, Mr. Raistiwar Pratama, SSMA, to lead the seminar. Ladies and gentlemen, please give him a warm round of applause.
Yeah, thank you, Melanie and Sania. Thank you, the participants. We are in the main session of the event. We have 4 speakers. 2 will be delivering their presentation online, and the first one will be offline. Switch the schedule because some technical issues. So to Mas Prabu, please go to the stage here, accompany me. And Pak Nurdin, are you already in the Zoom? Prof. Nurdin Laugu? Okay, yeah. We have, okay, thank you. Good morning, Pak Nurdin. How are you? Suaranya kecil ya. Oke, kunci. Ya. Oke. Ya, the presentation I will divide into 2 main sessions. The first one is panel between Prof. Nurdin Laugu from UIN Sunan Kalijaga and Mas Prabu from Universitas of Indonesia. So the first one, I will give the session to Prof. Nurdin. The screen is yours, Prof. Nurdin. Please start. Go ahead, Dede.
Can I share my PPT?
Please.
Okay, already. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. How many times I have?
15 minutes, the longest.
15 minutes?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, allow me to first to deliver my heartfelt gratitude to the committee who invited me to be part of this fourth National Symposium on documents, records, and archives. Before coming further, I would like to give or make or propose a sort of pre-discussions point to argue the topic. Yeah, our topic is significantly important for our symposium today about document, record, and archives. As the title shown here, archives versus hoaxes, pillars of authenticity in academic research. I believe that archives guarantee the credibility of research, or other way to say that archives serve as the foundations of authenticity and reliability in academic research. On the opposite, hoaxes pose a threat what is to truth, and even or the similar one that may undermine the credibility of knowledge. And the other ways or the other words to construct the ideas about the topic that archive represents verifiable and trustworthy sources, whereas hoaxes spread false and misleading information. So what next happens? The tensions between the two concepts above, means I mean that it's automatically determines the quality, credibility, and integrity of academic research. And this is what I said, that it is about a pre-discussion point to highlight the importance of this topic. Okay, let's next see the about the journey of the archives. So this can be seen in a glance, an overview of archival periodizations, and I designed into what is six phases or six periods. Yeah, the first we can see is ancient periods. Yeah, ancient periods before the 5th century AD. Yeah, the archives already became a very, very fundamental use in society and even in the government, can be used, yeah, as a legitimacy of power. So this means that from the beginning, the archives became very, very fundamentally important for our society and of ourselves individually. In the second one, in the classical and Middle Ages, yeah, to 15th century, that archive still more or less similar, but this is not only for the governments or the ruling elite, but also for private parts, yeah. for private party, yeah. To make it short, the third journey of the archives called as Renaissance and early modern period from 16th to 18th century. This become widened, yeah, because it is not only for the administrative things, but also for to courts to understand our history and also our culture. And the fourth period is a modern era, yeah, from 16th to mid 20th century, and this is a very, very important for the archive itself, yeah, because this period archive was recognized as a science, not only for even as an administrative or as a tools for any interest, but this what is got its attention as a knowledge or as a science. And the next or the fifth contemporary periods start from the mid 20th to late 20th century. This is also important, significant point in archive, yeah, because after the in the time of the World War II, they were extremely damaging the document and also of course what's called archives, and so that why archives having it or their momentum to be showing their importance, yeah, to the society, because the archives we can our what is our own, yeah, ourselves, yeah, and then also archives become as an instrument of diplomacy, of politics and human rights, and also in times the ACA what is important because the the emergence of what we call as information council or on archives become as a fundamental and principal what is rules for the archives. In the last one, what we are now and what we call 21st century and to present. This era was archives both as administrative or as a tool and knowledge have challenge, because not only encountering about physical materials or things, but also digital, virtual things, virtual materials, virtual archives. So this make it or their journey becomes a challenge, about the authenticity, safety, big data, cloud storage, and digital preservation. So from this what is periods or what I call as the journey of the archives, showing us about the importance and not only important but significantly and crucial important for our life, both as a individual context and what is collective things, for the institution, etc., showing us the importance of the archives. Okay, next, to see a bit about the general definition, I will just to show it once definition about this archive from Schellenberg to show us this about what is the archives that related to what is the related to research and the archives preserved for reference. So this is these definitions connected to our topic of this presentation. In the hoaxes, hoaxes is about information, fake news, or even called as a fact. Fact is something what is it is not what is it is not wrong in empirical in reality, but because of the facts are used are used or for twist and fabricates for the purpose of jokes and or serious ones. So let's say in many cases in political in political issues, something is actually what is something is not wrong, but it is twist, or made for to fraud somebody, etc. So fundamentally difference we see that archive is original, of course, and hoax is a wild information not in with the reality. And then archive versus hoaxes, archive is authentic source, archive authentic records or document, notes, data, reports that serve as a primary in research. So this is show us what is to what is to remain us as a researcher, not only lecturers but all researchers should believe that archives is a very important for getting what is data, and the hoax and the hoaxes as a threat, yeah, hoaxes infiltrate through fake news, manipulative data, or unclear sources, misleading the direction of research, producing false conclusion, and even actually endangering public policy. This demonstrates the urgency of critical thinking and source criticism in order to make our research reliable. And then hoaxes and threats to science. There are three things. Yeah, several hoaxes have influenced public opinion and research, such as the issue of vaccines and OTCism in the case of N. Wakefield, 1998, etc. Such cases impacted, of course, on the academic bias, damage of reputation, public misinformation. And also, digital era has played in accelerating the spread of at all level and group in society. So we have to be very carefully and honest about the emergence of the hoaxes in our research, in order to counter that kind of things. Of course, that the solution is to refer to what we call as archives. The position of archive in research can be seen in three groups. Archive as a valid primary source, archive as a verifiable scientific evidence, and also archive as guardian of the collective memory of science. Because the times is very limited, so I will come here directly see about the archive as a pillars of authenticity. There are 5 found to prove it that archive is a pillar of authenticity in research, for academic research. Yeah. The first one is methodological approach to research. Here can be divided into 3 to see as a methodological to the research. Yeah. Archive as a filter between false information, scientific truth, of course. Yeah. With documentation, researcher can compare, confirm, and circulating data. Archive strengthen academic integrity. So this is what I call as a methodological approach to research. And the second one, scientific steps to academic development. Yeah, there are 3 aspects that can be proved about the steps. Yeah, first, data validity. Archives provide authentication mechanism to ensure the data. So research data has a valid and reliable basis. And the third one, archival principle. Archive are run on the principle authenticity, reliability, and accountability, and ensuring data is not manipulated and be kept for. Yeah. And buffer institution, because this is so I think fundamental aspect, yeah, to our research becomes scientifically accepted. Yeah, national institution, libraries, and digital repositories act as a guardian of authenticity, and this providing access for researcher and the public. Yeah, and third, authenticity is ethical basis to truth. Yeah, I think the academic research, the ethic also become as a basic as a basic what is element to be able to achieve the academic competencies in research. Researchers are required to uphold ethics by only using verified data. Also, the use of archives is not just technical, but also a moral responsibility to maintain scientific truth. Without authenticity, research loses public trust. Yeah. And the fourth pillars, historical records for originality. This is of course very important, and we understand, we know, we are aware that archives is the king of the history. Yeah. So our preserve traces of knowledge, history, and national identity. And also, modern research can only be solid if it stands on the pillars of archival authenticity. Archival authenticity, it means that we know that what is the archives are also open to be what is twisted, fabricated for certain interests, and so we need also to be yeah, to treat the archives as a reference for our research, and also be a shield against information distortions and hoaxes that have the potential to erase and manipulate history. Okay, the last pillars is the future for societal development. There are at least four aspects that can be looked at as challenge and opportunity in terms of use the archive as a reference, as a material for conducting or writing our research. First, archive digitations. For risk of manipulation, falsification, and loss of original context. But the opportunity is easier, faster, and broader archive access. So this is the opposite ones. Both are opposite. And then the second one is open access and repository. Data security, privacy, and authorization issues is a challenge, but it's an opportunity that scientific repositories and open archives expands the reach of research. And the third one, big data archives, is challenge in this context, the search of big data is making long-term curation and preservation difficult. But the opportunity is potential for interdisciplinary analysis and research innovations. And last one, collaborations. Yeah. Fragmentation and collaboration collaboration and limitation of digital infrastructure is challenge, but becomes energy, yeah, between a researcher, archivist, and the community, strengthening the authority, the authenticity is an opportunity for us, yeah, to treat the archive as pillars, as important elements in our research. Okay, we come to the last point. I mean, the conclusions. First, yeah, we have 4 here conclusions, and the first one, archives is not just a storage, but a shield, yeah, of scientific truth. The second, yeah, to archives, research is just opinions. With archives, research become evidence. This is a sort of conclusions, yeah, yeah, and it is open to be discussed. And the importance of archival literacy for today's researcher. And the last one, archives is the last bastion of truth, while hoaxes is a virus that can destroy the validity of the research. Thank you. I think that's all, Mr. Moderator.
Thank you, Prof. Rin, for your presentation.
Yeah.
It's more about just the relation between archives and hoaxes, but also about maintaining research, the integrity of the research, the qualified ones, and as long as the archives holds their authenticities, we can assure that there will be no hoaxes, no more fake news and others. Okay, the second speaker is here offline, fortunately. Mas Prabu Wibowo, he will deliver some important issues and development about archival science, especially in connection with records management. Okay, Mas Prabu, the stage is yours.
Tes. Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Good
warahmatullahi
morning,
wabarakatuh.
So I hope you are still energized to discuss of the next session. So I will be delivering my speech regarding exploring the roots of records management and archival science, higher education in global and Indonesian perspectives. And I feel so honored to be here actually, and the materials is available online. I already uploaded, and if you can raise your phone and then open the camera and then scan the QR code, and I put the material there. So yeah, we will discuss more into. So previously, Professor Nurdin talked about how archives roles in digital age. So I'm more into the higher education, the study program. As you may all know that we are currently in the Faculty of Humanities, and one of the organizing committee is coming from the Department of Library Science. And you may wonder, why? Why is the Department of Library Science? Why not the history, for example, or why not the other programs? So in this discussion, we will explore why archival science might be related to library information science and other disciplines as well. So it's better before we. Oh, the slide's not. I don't know. Okay, so before we move further to the discussion, let's connect. And I mean, this symposium is also has a purpose to expand our network. And feel free to add me in LinkedIn, and then so it's very nice to meet you. So I'm the head of the graduate program at the Library of Information Science, and we just opened our doctoral program of information studies. So and I also the assistant professor in the field of multimedia, and then digital library, and also archives. And I also the head of the UpTP, and I put the logo there. There's a connection that I would like to explain later. It's UpTP is basically the association of the library and information science and also archival science association in Indonesia. And yeah, I will show you the relation of those in this discussion. So to begin our discussion, I would like to raise some questions. So sorry, it takes time to change the slides. And there are actually several questions that I would like to discuss here. And I got so many questions from potential students. For example, how many of you are archivists here? Or planning to be an archivist? Yeah, it's a lot. Yeah, you are already in National Archives, and most of you are archivists. And I got so many questions, for example, for archivists. When we often deliver social open house for the graduate program, and then many people ask me like, if I'm an archivist, and is it okay if I study in your program in the Department of Library Information Science? And the question is actually makes sense because the name doesn't contain any word of archives, right? I mean, the Department of Library and Information Science. And then I told them that, yeah, you can. I mean, in the curriculum, we offer the competencies and also the skills for archivists to further to hone their skills in archival science. So I got a lot of questions. So I would like to raise some questions. And how has records management and also archival science developed over time in global and Indonesian context? And what are the educational pathways? So let's say you want to become an archivist here. What are the correct or what are the relevant study programs that would like to pursue in the future? And what are the most relevant programs? And also, is there any relationships between library and information science and also the archival science? And then how do Indonesian archivists and records managers gain their competencies through higher education? So hopefully these questions can be answered during our discussion. And I would like to begin with the defining the profession of archivist and record manager. So according to the laws of the 43rd laws of 2009 regarding archivist is basically the people that has the profession that has competence in archival science. So let's say you want to be an archivist, it needs to be you need to learn the competencies through higher education and training, and then they have functions and the duties, responsibilities to carry on the archival activities. So during your education, let's say in regarding archival science, there are a lot of courses that teach you of the competencies and skills. And then let's say you want to become a functional archivist, there is another exam. So it raises another questions. So what kinds of education that you need to take to become an archivist? Is it library and information science? Or is it history? Or is it linguistics, language science? and or is it any other, or let's say public administration? And yeah, these are the questions that we would like to discuss in this session. And where is it rooted from, the archival science? Is it come from, let's say, library and information science or other disciplines? So this is the agenda for the today's discussion. It's not. It will be quick. It's just to ignite the discussion, and we will we'll have more discussion for the session. So for the global perspectives, I raise some papers. So it is from papers from North America. It's from Cox. Cox is actually one of the most revered scientists in archival science. Cox and Jekyll. Jekyll is actually my professor during my postdoc. She was in the University of Michigan, and then she just retired last year. So they published a paper regarding archival education in North America, library and information science schools. And then I put another literature from Scandinavia, because I also graduated from Sweden, and so I think it's very nice to raise some discussion regarding archival science in Scandinavia. And then in China as well, there is a study of the roots of archival science in China. And then in in Brazil, and then in Thailand. I intentionally not including the Australia. Australia has also one of the program in archival science, but since I saw that Professor Su will talk, and I think it's better to have her to talk more regarding the archival science in Australia. So what happens in Indonesia, and we will compare all of the findings through this session. So basically in North America, the archival science can be traced back to 1934. During the founding of the National Archives in 1934, there are a lot of people are asking the high demands of archivists there. And then there's also a shift in North America from training. There was the education was coming from the training, because there are high demand of archivists. They need a quick to fulfill those requests. So it's coming from the training and then becoming academic discipline, and then it's coming actually from library science. It's coming from American Library Association. It becomes AHA, becomes Historical Association. So what happens right now is that in North America, and since I studied there for my doctoral program, I can say that archival science becoming specialization in the program. So it's not basically a dedicated program to train archivists, but it's more into specialization in the library information science, and still relevant today. Even though the paper is published in 2001, it's still relevant in current condition. And then the summarized finding from this paper is that it is rooted back, developed mainly within the library and information science, because it has related courses. It has courses in rare books materials, because it was a book before publication, and then when it becomes like very old, it becomes archives, right? And then so the key challenge for this paper is that you need to balance between the theory and also the identity of library information traditions. So yeah, I mean, in the North America, it's rooted back from library information science, and then what happens is that there is a lack of commitment of archival professional associations to further make it dedicated program. So that's what happened. I just reporting what the study says. So yeah, there's a lack of commitment. I think it can be raised in discussion in this session. And then what furthermore, and then regarding the nomenclature. Nomenclature is very important as well, the name of the program. So in many North American universities has, as I mentioned before, is one of the specialization in library information science. So because because in the North America and in the US, you can pursue major and minor. So let's say you are accepted in the biological science, and then you would like to study further regarding library science or archival science. So you can have minor, something like joint degree, something, and then but it's not happening in Indonesia. So what's happening there? So even though you are having like major in, for example, library information science, you can pursue any other minor in other programs. So it allowing graduates for other professions as well. So and we can also if we further in ALA, in the Association of Library Association, they have American Library Association. They have the profession of library information science can manage archives. So they have those statements in their websites. And then also regarding the professors, because professor is also one of the basic foundations, right, in the higher education. And in the US, if you want to pursue in archival science, you need to find the correct professors that are willing to advise you for the program. And it also reflected in the facilities, the laboratories, and also the other facilities, for example, to practice their skills in archival management. And what happens there is that there are increased expansion regarding full-time faculty in the US. And we will compare this in Indonesia, and then after that, in the later slides. And then the curriculum, the courses, we can, actually, I'm sorry, it's too small to see, but what I'm trying to explain is that in North America, they have core courses regarding archival science. They have introduction. I'm sure it's supposed to be another next slide, but it doesn't appear in the. I'm sorry. Let's wait. Okay, there. So the core courses for archival science is required to study more into the introduction, and then the appraisal, and then arrangement, preservation, and then legal and ethical issues. And they also have specialized courses regarding digital archives. So basically, to be able to to have a minor, at least you need to take 3 to 6 courses, and then and that's what happened because there is no standalone program degree in North America. And in North America as well, you can be an archivist if you are graduated from history science, because history know the content of the archives, so they can be considered an archivist. And then, for example, public administration also offering some programs regarding e-government and also digital bureaucracy of the office document management. So what happens in Scandinavia is actually similar. So what happens from North America, the archival science can be traced back to the librarians and also information managers, but they are different from the Central Europe, because in Central Europe there are wars. They have like focus on the preservation, but in Scandinavia they are more into linguistics. So for example, they have some universities that offering archival science, but more into linguistics, because archives can be, it also can be related to linguistics and language. And they have some courses, seminars, and trainings, and also the National Archives institution in Scandinavia. They provide also trainings regarding archival science. And what happens in China is also similar, and you can see that it's originated from in 1930. It's older than in the US. And basically they are born from library and information science. And now the main direction is that they are more, the information science acts as a subject, as a domain, as a research. But archivist is more into professional training. So that's what happens in China. And then in Brazil, it's very similar as well. It's the archival science can be traced back to information science. And then some of the universities providing education program, higher education from training to academic training. And then because archives is considered as units of information. So that's what happens in Brazil. And in Thailand, it's a little bit different. So most archivists in Thailand, according to the paper that I presented, more archivists are having degree in history. So that's what happens in Thailand. So yeah, those are what happens in global perspectives. So in the second part, I would like to let's compare what happens in Indonesia. So what happens in Indonesia is that since I am the head of the FTP, so as the association of the LIST program in Indonesia, so I know just a little bit more regarding the LIST program and also archival science program in Indonesia. So the nomenclature of library information science program in Indonesia is that the majority are still having the name of library science. Yeah, so this is what happens. I mean, the majority are library science, and then several are having in information science. And for example, in UIN, from Professor Nurdin, most universities are adding Islamic library science there. So that's what happens. And records and archives, there are five programs. Sorry. Okay. And then the umbrella. Most programs are under the Faculty of Humanities. So yeah, because Faculty of Humanities are exploring research and studies regarding cultural aspects of the media or information. So it's what happens here is that yeah, many LIST programs, information studies program, and archival science fall into the Faculty of Humanities, including the linguistics and also the history program here in the University of Indonesia. And it also reflected in the type of professors, and then also of the orientation, the study orientation is more into cultural. We know now is there is a concept of digital humanities, and we are discussing more into the relationship of archives and information. So the nomenclature, why is it important to discuss? Is that, well, it's best when I go back to realize the questions that I got before. Why? For example, is it fit for example, if you are an archivist and then I would like to pursue like a further program or for further degree, and is it okay if I, for example, take library information science? Because as you can see in University of Indonesia, there is no the term of the program is library science, but we have now in the Faculty of Vocational Study we have records and archives management. So, but it's only until D4. D4 is like a applied bachelor's degree. So its name is very important. For example, in civil servant in Indonesia, it's very favorite job. And then whenever there's a job opening for archivists, if you are coming from library information science, and then the opening is only for the graduates that are coming from archival science. So what happens is that if you know you have the competency in managing archives, but you cannot apply for those jobs. So the nomenclature is very important as well. Therefore, it needs a legitimacy, the nomenclature of the program, and also provide career pathways for the graduates in government and also in professional fields. So this is what happens in the University of Indonesia. Since the University of Indonesia is the oldest, I think, yeah. We will have Dies Natalis. It's like a anniversary in next October. We will be 75 I'm sorry, forgot. I'm sorry. 70. Yeah, 70. From 1952 to 73. Sorry. Yeah, and then so what happens is that we have vocational school. Vocational school is under the program of vocational records and archives management. So there's a name of records there, records and archives. But if we take a look at the degree is actually in information science, STRSI, science informasi in Indonesian. So and then in the Faculty of Humanities we have bachelor's degree, undergraduate degree to the doctoral program that just opened last year. And for example, for the bachelor's degree we have library science. So there is no records or archives name in the names. And for the master's degree it should be supposed to be MHUM, but it's also the name of the program is library science. The archival is one of the specialization in the program. So what we can see is that in Indonesia, specifically in the University of Indonesia, the archival science can also be traced back, rooted back to the library information science. It's similarly what happens in global perspectives. So I will be very quick here. So this is the clusters of the professors. One of the clusters is actually archives and information preservations, and then these are the courses provided by the vocational program. So basically, into the records and archives, but more into practical. And then for the bachelor's degree, it is more into balance between theory and also the practical. But we provided courses regarding archives and record management, for example, fundamentals of library information and archival science, and then preservation is also related to the archive, but not limited only to archives, but it's also related to other fields as well. For example, we also provided courses regarding filing system, and then records management, and then archives administration, and then digital records management, and then the final project allowing students to pursue further into anything they have in their interests. And then for the graduate programs, for the master's degree, we have four specific courses related to archival science. For example, organizational document management, archival management. But we also have thesis that allowing students to pursue further regarding archival science. So in the diploma, they will have specialization in archival science. And then for the doctoral program, it's more in general, because we are allowing students from any fields to discuss information as the core concept of the education. And then since I just started as the head of the grade program, so I just be able to, but I will collect more regarding the publications and also studies in our department. But somehow when we take a look at last year, there are 38% of students. So it's a quite good number. I mean, it's not the majority, but there are many students are pursuing into archival science, and 52% are more generic, more into library science, like literacy, data, and also knowledge management. And for the records management students, they are studying more into colonial archives, because Indonesia is tied closely to the colonial, and then IT governance systems, and AI, and also digital humanities. And we also have laboratories regarding archives and preservation, and the head of the laboratory is Dr. Yeni here. I think Dr. Yeni was here. So she was the head of the laboratory, and it's basically allowing students to practice more into library and also archives. So, as a conclusion, this is the third part, last part. In many global cases, including in Indonesia, records management and archival science are rooted back closely, are tied closely to library information science because they share similar concepts and theories. For example, information organization, because we can see archives is also type of information. And so graduates from any library and information science program can work as a archivist. They are, because our programs are training, are giving competencies and through their courses for the graduates to become information professionals. Information professionals is actually to apply their skills to manage any type of information, not just archivists, not just librarians, but all kinds of information related jobs. And then if we can also see the similarities of the information science, records management, and also data management, because they have life cycle. They have cycle from the creation, from the storage, from the classification. Yeah, they are really similar in concepts and also in the practice. So it's very related. And so for the conclusion, records managers and archivists in Indonesia, they can pursue, you are free to pursue in the library information science as a higher education, because library information science is emphasized more on management, life cycle, systems, and also the profession. But it also allowing from another program, for example, history science and linguistics, they can focus more into the content and the context of the archives. And for example, for public administration, they can focus more into the office and also the records and archives in organizational settings. So this is the main findings from my presentation. Hopefully this can be a paper after, but I urge you to comment and give like questions. I will. So based on my, it's actually a small, simple research for this presentation. Many or most, we can say most, records management and archival science are originated from library information science. It's similar to global cases. In Indonesia, we have both vocational training and also the academic programs, research-based in archival science. And the nomenclature matters. Yeah, the name matters for the academic identity, research scope, and also the professional recognition. And the higher education programs in the future, if you are, for example, if let's say you are willing to create a new program regarding archival, you need to have clear standards, competencies, what's provided in the program. And then future development of the higher education should integrate, because we are living in the digital and data age of digital age. So digital archives, digital humanities, and AI we have to integrate those into the curriculums. And we have to collaborate, as mentioned by Professor Nordin before. We need to cooperate between the higher education, because the UI, the University of Indonesia, and also the ANRI for the National Archives institution, to strengthen what is the expected outcomes of whenever the graduates are just graduating from the library information science or archival programs. And they also expand publication through, for example, like for this event is allowing students to bring their ideas, they bring research and studies. It's also important, and also foster international collaboration and reinforce the professional certification. Okay, I think that's all for the ignition for today's discussion, and I would like to hear more from you all, and thank you. And I will turn back to the moderator.
Yeah. Thank you, Mas Paru, for sparkling many interesting ideas about the similarities and somehow the uniqueness of the programs, both in library science and records and archives management program. It might be a little bit practical, but also more about doing research in collaborative ways between other fields. Mas Prabu also give us backgrounds to know our roots by traveling around, go abroad, yeah, between America, parts of Asia, and then we are continuing the speakers who will deliver about the global issues in archival science development, archival studies development, mainly from Australian perspective. Prof. Su Mokemis, are you already joined us? Have you joined the Zoom, Professor Su? Okay. Please give her spotlight in the screen. Put her in the spotlight.
I already stopped my screen, so I don't know.
Can I hear your voice, Prof. Su Mokemis? Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear.
Ah, fantastic.
Okay. While you're enjoying your vacation, will you please be kind to share some insights about archival science?
Yes, I'm very happy to do that. Thank you. Okay, just let me show you a little bit of where I'm at the sea. So, I'm delighted to have been invited to present to the 4th International Symposium on Documents, Records and Archives. And thank you for inviting me, and good morning to everyone who is participating, and my regards to all of my distinguished colleagues who are there. The topic that I've chosen is the history and future of archival science from custody to continuum. I have a few questions about why the history of archival science matters. It's to do with grounding practice in archival principles, explaining how archival values have developed and why they persist, and also why they need to change. And understanding history helps us to adapt and apply core principles in national, local, legal, cultural, and digital contexts. So, where are we at? So following that brief introduction to why it matters, I'd like to talk a little bit about essentially the custodial paradigm in archival science, which has been very dominant until recently. And this key features of the custodial paradigm include the physical custody of records and archives in central repositories. Archivists are seen as custodians of institutional memory, and the life cycle model of create, appraise, archive, it's a bit more complicated than that, but not very complicated model, has been the main practice model in that paradigm. But when we come to digital government and distributed records and hybrid paper digital processes, these require rethinking that model. It really is not a good fit for what's happening right now in this area. The records continuum theory challenges what has been happening in the past, and particularly challenges the usefulness and values and validity of the life cycle model. And it's particularly relevant in a digital context. The theory and the model were developed by my colleague, the late Dr. Frank Upwood at Monash and others at Monash, and is Australia's major contribution to the theoretical field. Archiving and record keeping are seen as integrated processes, not separate as they are in the life cycle stages. And they play a key role in governance and accountability, remembering and forgetting, and forming our identities. Now, this provides a framework for multiple provenance, not single authorship, single ownership of records, shared stewardship across agencies, communities, and digital platforms, appraisal as part of the creation process, and this is a very distinct difference from the life cycle stages. What we create and how long to keep them needs to be determined at the beginning, not at the end. And disposal should involve ongoing decision-making. This is the records continuum model. You may be familiar with it already. It's essentially a four-dimensional map of what record keeping and archiving is all about, and it encompasses creating records, capturing them into systems, organising them, bringing them together in larger systems, and pluralising them as evidence of collective memory. One of the key concepts that's associated with this records continuum thinking is that of somewhere beyond custody, that many records and archives exist away from the custodial, that they are out there beyond the walls. I have a feeling that the slides that we're seeing are not quite matching up with the slides that I provided. I'm not sure what's happening here, so let me see. I don't think I can do anything in particular about that. But in the continuum, records and archives take many different forms. They're in many different media. They may be spoken, written, or performed. They provide evidence of social, cultural, and organisational activity, and they evidence and memorialise individual and collective lives. Why should we adopt? Can we catch up with the slides? Why should we adopt the records continuum model? Can we go back? Back, still, another one. Back, please, there. Why should we adopt the records continuum model? Well, continuum thinking essentially aligns with stewardship across agencies, communities, and digital platforms. And digital government systems, distributed records, hybrid paper digital processes require rethinking and essentially setting aside the life cycle assumptions. Training in continuum-based curriculum can improve government, corporate and community record keeping long-term. Access and cross-agency interoperability as well. For example, through the capture of context metadata at the time of creation and preservation of provenance metadata for digital records, and then that metadata can carry forward into the archival systems as well. Digital records are born, distributed. The continuity of evidence requires productive capture and governance of archives and records across networks. So there's some thoughts on why it's important to adopt this particular model. So I'd like you to imagine for a while, I think, yes, that's right. Imagine if you moved from exclusive national institutional memory to pluralized memories, enabling Indigenous, local and diaspora voices in the archives where in the past they have been silenced. Inclusive, plural memory and community archives, ethical stewardship, engaging with subjects and giving them agency in the record. Culturally appropriate approaches to Indigenous records, repatriation of cultural heritage back to the place of origin, community co-creation of records, and partnerships between national and state archives and community archival initiatives. This slide is about pluralising the archive in the way I've just been describing. We're on to the next slide for those organised. So pluralising the archives in both the oral tradition and the literacy tradition. And recognising the role that storytellers, performers, dancers, singers, musicians, priests, genealogists and artists play as trusted transmitters of information, knowledge, evidence and memories, using memory aids like rhymes and repetition and other kinds of mnemonics. And this slide shows the many different forms that an archive can take. So not just the government and business records and archives, not just extending it to community records and archives, but including all sorts of things as recognising that they are in fact archives. They might be monuments or temples, they might be places of worship, they might be songs and dances, rituals. Records can be embodied in place, in the landscape, in people. And this is what continuum thinking is all about. So, to take an example of that, let's consider Borobudur in Central Java. It's the largest Buddhist temple in the world. It embodies Buddhist cosmology. The carved stone reliefs which line the temple walls tell the story of Buddha's life and his teachings, the Dharma. The lower levels provide evidence of Javanese culture and everyday life in the 10th century, and it is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. This is a living archive. Dates back to the 10th century, tells us a lot about what was happening in Central Java at that time, and also embodies Buddhist cosmology. Songs and dance also can embody knowledge and memories. They tell stories, they're carried by the human body, performance, music, songs, dance, communicate information, cultural knowledge, experience as and memories to future generations over centuries and even millennia. The earliest records in Australia date back, for Australian Indigenous peoples, date back 60,000 years. And they've been passed on from generation to generation over that time. In Indigenous communities in Indonesia, there are studies happening right now about changes in climate that involve working with Indigenous communities and all the stories that they've told and passed down about climate and how it changes over time. Here I have also put some examples of dances. Let me just see, yes, that's the one we're going to now. And how they pass on so much knowledge. And one of them is the court dance, Serimpi, from the Yogyakarta Palace. And it embodies the courtesy and gentleness of that palace. And it dates from the Mataram kingdom of Sultan Agung, and it is still performed regularly at the palace. And the other one is the Barong dance, which embodies the struggle of good and evil, and dates from pre-Hindu Bali. I just want to go quickly now because I'm sure I'm running out of time, but I just wanted to touch on major developments in archival science that are very important, and we've heard quite a lot this morning from others about the programs that are now available across the world and in Indonesia, and that's very encouraging to know that this has been developing over the past decade, since about the 1980s, I guess, and that we have certificate and bachelor's degrees, but increasingly master's degrees, and in particular research degrees, master's research and PhD research, which are very important to the maturity of a discipline and a science. There's lots of scholarships, I was just going to say, in relation to education, just adding to what other speakers have said. Lots of Indonesian students study in other countries, and some of you who've been speaking have had that experience, and we have had a lot of Indonesian students at Monash and in the US, in the UK, in Japan, a lot of different places in the world. The numbers of professionals in our field are growing everywhere. Research grants and being made to record keeping and archiving research from the major granting bodies in countries all around the world. And we've joined the iSchools movement. I'm not sure if you have an iSchool or iSchools in Indonesia, but this brings together in an organisation, worldwide organisation, about 130 programs which teach archival science, library science, information science, brings together all aspects of research and teaching about information, and generally in all its different forms. And this is what unites those schools that join that movement. And so perhaps if you're not aware of it already, which you may well be, forgive me if I'm just telling you something that you already know. But if you don't know about the iSchools movement, it's a good movement to get involved with. Okay, so the next slide. Now, I think we've gone a little bit too far. We need to go to the slide that's about the formation of professional associations. That's it, yes. So this is a really important part of the maturity in the development of a field, is that we have professional associations in both archives and records management. We have increasingly highly ranked journals in the field internationally and at national level, and we have national and international conferences and also events like this, symposiums like this, which are very important for us to get involved with, because often archives and records are, there's not a great mass of people in any one country. We don't necessarily have critical masses of people in any one country in this field. So we need these international and national organisations to bring us all together to learn from each other. In Australia, we have the Records Management and Information Management Professionals Association, and we have the Australian Society of Archivists. We have some really great journals, as I said. Call your attention particularly to Archival Science, which is a truly international journal, and some papers are now on open access, free, and they are increasingly publishing open access free. So that's a great development. Archives and manuscripts in Australia is completely open and free. So if you think about somewhere to publish and you want it to get worldwide accessibility, not just from people who are sitting inside universities where their universities, if they have enough money, subscribe to these, but you can actually get free access now to two significant papers in two significant journals. And I've got there the Indonesian Professional Society, and apologies to Bu Hani, who's just sent me a message to alert me to the fact that it should be P3RP. So we drop the C. And that's a wonderful photograph, I think, of Bu Hani and all of her colleagues there. I also wanted to draw your attention to this amazing organisation, Archival Educators and Researchers Institute. I've put its website address there, and you can check out those web pages. You can join the Institute if you're a graduate researcher or an academic in the field, or indeed leading practitioners can also join. And you can participate in its next annual meeting, which will be in 2026 in the University of British Columbia in Canada. And if at all possible, I'm not sure if any Indonesian researchers, graduate researchers, educators have attended this or joined or participated in the Institute before, but it's a great thing to work towards, to be able to fund people from Indonesian universities in our field to attend, because it just enables you to have this wonderful worldwide network of colleagues in a field which is relatively small. I've got some conclusion and takeaway messages, so I won't dwell too long on them. So we're switching to the next slide now. So it's about what the future might hold, hopefully moving from exclusive national institutional memory to plural and inclusive memories at all levels. Ethical stewardship, which does involve really engaging with subjects and getting them engaged in decision-making about their records. The importance of being very culturally appropriate, especially in relation to Indigenous and minority cultural groups. Adat communities would probably fall into that definition. Repatriation of cultural heritage to their original place, and community co-creation. And partnerships between all the players at different levels. For example, a pilot might be integrating village adat records with municipal e-government logs and local oral histories into a shared network. I think I've just got a few more before I finish up. So we need new records creation policies that capture records at their source, at the beginning, with all the metadata that they need to go forward to archives, as well as being records. Standardized mandatory metadata fields are needed to support provenance. We need retention and access policies that actually reflect plural uses, don't necessarily favour or privileged researchers, but look for a plural audience. Building capacity in curriculum, standards and technical systems. National archives, ministries, regional archives, universities, to update record-keeping regulations to include records continuum approaches, to pilot continuum-based approaches across provinces, and to look at how to fund community archives pilots. And at that point, terima kasih. It's been great to join you. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person.
While we are waiting for the fourth speaker, we have seen that how Ibu Shu delivers to us some historical background about the records continuum model, and the interesting part is how wide the archival field is, not about only papers, but digital, but also living archives such as monuments, candi, and many others cultural heritage. So archival science and archival studies is not mainly about its own identity, but more about connection with others. Okay, we will have our Q&A session. I will open for three questioner. Okay, Pak Joko, two others. Okay, the third one, the last one. Oh, di Zoom. Okay. Ada di Zoom satu. Ntar ya. Okay, please Pak Joko. Deliver your question in short.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Saya barangkali ya, ini dua pertanyaan untuk speaker Indonesia, saya pakai bahasa Indonesia, nanti yang satu Ibu Su pakai bahasa Inggris. Untuk Profesor Nurdin, Assalamualaikum Profesor Nurdin.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Ya, nama saya Joko Utomo, barangkali saya peserta yang paling tua, umur sudah 76. Ya. Ya. Saya sungguh berterima kasih dan mengapresiasi ya yang sangat tinggi terhadap terhadap artikel atau tulisan Profesor Nurdin. Archive versus hoax. Nah, yang ingin saya tanyakan yang pertama adalah ya, yang berkaitan kalau sebetulnya begini. Menurut paham postmodern, apa yang Profesor Nurdin itu ya itu juga, tapi bukan postmodern. Tetapi menurut paham postmodern, arsip itu sudah tidak objektif. Arsip itu sudah tidak netral. Arsip itu sudah tidak imparsial. Bagaimana pendapat Profesor Nurdin terhadap ini? Karena ini seperti disampaikan oleh teoris-teoris kearsipan, misalnya saja dari Terry Cook tahun 2001 sudah mengatakan begitu. Kemudian yang kedua, masalah hoax. Ada yang mengatakan bahwa hoax itu adalah anak kandung dari post-truth. Sehingga kalau kita sejajarkan bahwa itu anak kandung, berarti ya sebetulnya orang tua sama anaknya sama-sama hoax gitu. Mohon pencerahan Profesor Nurdin. Kemudian yang kedua, Mas Prabu ya panggilannya ya. Mas Prabu, saya terima kasih banyak ya. Jadi dari dari perpustakaan yang melalang buana lah itu. Begini Mas Prabu, saya ingat betul ya tahun 69 ya. Tahun 69 pada penghujung tahun 69 tanggal 16 sampai 19 Desember 1969 Indonesia menyelenggarakan suatu seminar Sarbika dengan tajuk Tropical Archipology. Istilah tropical, tentu saja tropical archipology ini sebetulnya kalau menurut saya itu diilhami dari penulis Prancis ya, Yves Perrotin yang menulis buku The Manual of Tropical Archipology. Yang ingin saya sampaikan adalah ya, tahun 69 sudah menggunakan istilah archipologi. Istilah lain dari archival science. Istilah lain ya dari archival studies. Istilah lain dari archive studies. Istilah lain dari arkivistik. Baik, Profesor Eric Ketteler dari Universitas of Amsterdam, tempatnya Mas Rais belajar sekarang, itu dia tidak pernah mau disebut Profesor Archival Science. Dia ingin Profesor Arkivistik. Nah itu. Nah jadi pertanyaan, karena Mas itu Mas Prabu kan bagaimana masalah penyelenggaraan pendidikan di perguruan tinggi. Yang ingin saya tanyakan adalah, saya itu melihat ya ada satu buku pengantar ilmu kearsipan Profesor Sulistyo Basuki ya. Bukunya lebih dari 500 halaman. Tetapi ketika beliau berbicara ilmu kearsipan ya kurang lebih ya di dalam bahasa Inggris adalah archive studies. Yakni ilmu yang mempelajari atau memfokuskan diri pada ya pengelolaan arsip yang bernilai permanen. Menurut saya, ini mohon izin ya, saya bukan itu kan ya. Jadi saya itu sudah lebih dari Medan daripada orang Medan. Jadi begini. Jadi Profesor Sulistyo Basuki, saya baru punya 2 bukunya beliau, 2007 diterbitkan pengantar itu dan 2019. Kabarnya sampai 2023. Tetapi dari 500 halaman lebih itu beliau mengatakan yaitu tadi itu hanya 2 kalimat 4 baris. Dan itu pun menurut saya tidak tepat. Karena tahun 2001 ya, itu sudah terbit suatu jurnal archival science ya, yang di Belanda yang diterbitkan oleh Kluivert itu, dia itu sudah bahwa archival science itu ya fokus bahasanya bukan lagi hanya arsip statis. Kalau Profesor Sulistyo Basuki arsip statis, ini berarti arsip dinamis dan arsip statis. Lebih lanjut kalau saya kaitkan lagi dengan misalnya tulisan ya, misalnya Duranti dan Frank tahun 2015 itu dia adalah sebagai editor. Jadi dari apa itu namanya archival science. Tapi saya itu kadang-kadang itu ya. Oke, tetapi itulah archival science. Dan itu dengan tegas dikatakan bahwa objek archival science adalah arsip dinamis, arsip statis. Itu kalau orang Belanda. Kalau di sini ada kawan saya, ada ketua dari PG3RI, itu adalah rekod dan archive. Itu. Nah, kemudian untuk Mas itu ya. Jadi ini menurut saya bagaimana pendapat Mas Prabu mengenai pendapat Profesor Sulistyo Basuki? Ya, saya nggak tahu ya kalau apakah sama-sama pustakawan berani mengkritik, saya nggak tahu. Nah, kemudian yang kedua, arsip Paris Indonesia itu adalah arsip Paris yang paling unik di dunia, paling unik. Tadi ya saya perhatikan fokus record management sama archive management. Nah, saya harus laporkan kepada Mas Prabu ketika saya jadi kepala arsip nasional, ya. Jadi ketika itu di arsip nasional itu yang namanya conservator atau preservator itu sudah merupakan ya merupakan bagian jabatan fungsional arsiparis. Nah, oleh karena itu izinkan saya menyatakan arsiparis Indonesia paling unik di dunia karena dia terdiri atas record manager atau record administrator, archivist, sama preservator atau conservator. Nah, ketika itu anak buah saya, ketika saya menghubungi Perpustakaan Nasional sama museum untuk melepaskan preservator atau conservator sendiri, karena di mana-mana preservator conservator itu warga negara kelas 2. Jadi waktu di Belanda itu sendiri, ya. Nah, itu kawan-kawan di Arsip Nasional protes ke saya, datang ke saya, mereka, wah udah Pak Joko itu tidak sayang pada kami. Sayang apa? Saya bilang, loh kalau Bapak mau mengeluarkan preservator conservator, Bapak berarti nggak sayang. Loh, bukan, saya sayang sama kalian. Bukan Pak, kalau Bapak keluarkan, kami arsiparis ini, kami ini bukan arsiparis, tidak dapat poin, angka kredit, dan tidak dapat koin. Nah itu, jadi mohon pendapatnya ini Mas Prabu bagaimana. Kemudian Profesor Su ya, Prof Su, good morning Profesor Su Mekemis, Prof. Okay, Prof. My name is Joko Tomo. I met you in Yogyakarta last year in December 2024. Yeah, I was remembering that you deliver your presentation was very nice. And one of the about the dance. Yeah, I still remember about the dance. That the dance is how do you call it? Considered as archive, something like that. What I would like to ask you is, yeah, because your paper is regarding on the origin and development of archival science. As far as I know, there are the first actually, yeah, Michel Duchesne, yeah, in 1992, yeah, he said that archival science did not emerge until 17th century. But I also reading some book that actually that is the origin of the archival science was emerged in the 16th century. Yeah, by Jacob von Ramingen. This is it. What I would like to ask you is, what is actually this? It is Michel Duchesne, yeah. Oh, this. And the third one is, yeah. As far as I know, ilmu kearsipan in Indonesia, ilmu kearsipan was also called archival science. Yeah, I still remembering. Yeah, I was still remembering that in 1969, yeah, that Indonesia, yeah, conducting the Sarpika seminar, yeah, Sarpika seminar called, yeah, tropical archipelago. What I would like to say is that ilmu kearsipan or archival science is also archipelago. But I was, yeah, I'm graduated in University College London. Yeah, my master, yeah, is archive studies. It means, what does it mean? One is archival science, the second is archipelago, the third is archive studies, the fourth is archival studies, and Professor Eric Kettler, yeah, he was also my teacher in the Netherlands, that he prefer using archivistic rather than archival science, archipelago, archive studies. What I would like to ask you is it possible to make one term like archival science, like your presentation, like Mas Prabu presentation, or we still can use about 5 terms, yeah, terms. Thank you very much, Professor Shu. I was born in Klaten. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Joko. My husband was born in Klaten, and my children and grandchildren live in the province of Klaten. So lots of really good people come from there, don't they? Pak Joko, saya 75 tahun. So in relation to your question,
Yes.
I tend to like names that are something. The problem with the word archives is that it's understood often just to mean historical records, not to include current record keeping. And the records continuum looks to integrate thinking about current record keeping and historical record keeping. It's awkward because you actually need more than one word to describe what the archives are. Archiving and record keeping. I think that's what we do. That's what we're about. And in some places, archives are exclusively the old records, often the old records in custody. But in other places, archives are, the term archives is inclusive. And I think Prof. Kettler was meaning to say that the term archivistics is inclusive, and that perhaps by changing archives to archivistics, you would get the idea that there was more than just archives happening. It was also archives and record keeping. But I think it is problematic anyway, because across the world, different people use those terms and mean different things in different countries. And so it's always important to clarify when you're doing what I often do, which is present. It's often important to clarify what you mean by those terms, because otherwise, if I'm talking about archives to some of my American colleagues and I don't say, well, I think archives is archives and records, then they get an entirely different message from me, and that's problematic. And it's very nice to see you, Pak Joko. And you don't look as old as me.
Baik, Assalamualaikum. Terima kasih banyak Pak Joko, ini luar biasa. Pak Joko masih semangat ya, lantang sebenarnya. Tepuk tangan untuk Pak Joko jadi. Baik, Tadi ada 2 pertanyaan ya Pak Joko ya. Jadi saya jawabnya bahasa Indonesia atau Indonesia ya? Oke. I will answer in bahasa Indonesia ya. Saya yang jawab bahasa Indonesia. Jadi benar tadi Pak Joko. Jadi memang di pendidikan kami di UI kami membedakan antara record dan arsip. Jadi memang tadi sesuai dengan jawabannya Prof. Su ya. Jadi memang record itu identik dengan arsip yang dinamis tadi ya, arsip yang dinamis. Dan memang istilah ini juga sempat jadi perdebatan ya di kami ya, masalah kenapa sih namanya record gitu ya, kenapa enggak kan kalau arsip itu sama-sama arsip gitu ya. Tapi memang karena memang kalau di kalau di pendidikan memang perlu dibedakan ya Bapak Ibu semuanya. Jadi Pak Joko, jadi memang ketika kita mengelola record gitu, dia sewaktu-waktu record itu kan masih bisa berubah, misalkan ada seriesnya ya. Sedangkan kalau arsip itu identik, arsip statis itu identik dengan arsip yang harus disimpan permanen. Memang itu ini masih secara sains ini dan ini banyak juga di negara-negara lain, mereka membedakan antara record dan manajemen records management dan juga arsip ya. Istilah record dan arsip itu memang di seluruh dunia memang dibedakan. Nah, ini pendidikan di Indonesia sebenarnya banyak juga mengambil inspirasi dari pendidikan lainnya. Contoh misalnya ketika saya lulus, saya juga membawa pengalaman dan juga pendidikan yang saya terima, lalu saya juga tuangkan di dalam kurikulum ya pendidikan. Jadi memang dan ini juga kaitannya dengan sejarah sebenarnya Pak ya. Jadi memang dari yang kami dapat, jadi saya juga sebenarnya saya anak kemarin sore jadi saya mendapatkan pendidikan memang sudah ditanamkan ada perbedaan itu antara record dan arsip. Jadi memang dan itu juga ketika saya baca literatur yang lain memang ada perbedaan dalam penanganannya. Jadi memang itu yang terjadi. Jadi itu yang kita implementasikan ke dalam pendidikan tinggi di UI. Nah, terkait nama, apakah archival science atau archival studies ya Pak ya? Ini yang disampaikan oleh Pak Sulis atau Prof Sulis ya. Jadi studies ya. Sedangkan kalau di luar archival science. Saya mengikuti Pak perdebatan tentang itu. Jadi termasuk pemilihan kata antara kajian ya. Kalau di bahasa Indonesia kan studies itu kajian ya. Dan kalau science atau ilmu. Nah, ini memang sebenarnya ada banyak faktor sebenarnya Pak. Jadi saya juga beberapa kali terlibat dalam diskusi itu. Termasuk salah satu pemilihan nama di S3 kita. Jadi kita punya nama S3 Pak. Itu kajian informasi, bukan information science. Kalau di luar kan namanya studi-studi luar program studi di luar negeri biasanya library information science atau information science. Sedangkan di Indonesia di UI ya, maksudnya bukan di Indonesia, di UI sendiri kita pakai nama kajian informasi. Jadi memang ini kaitannya dengan, kalau saya boleh bilang ya, ini mungkin kaitannya dengan politik organisasi Pak. Jadi awalnya kami Departemen Ilmu Perpustakaan, kalau Departemen Ilmu Perpustakaan dan Informasi, kami mengajukan nama Sains Informasi. Namun pada perjalanannya kita sudah mulai menjajakan untuk pembukaan program itu dari 2011. Saya ingat betul, saya juga terlibat, Pak Zul, Pak Sulis itu mengusulkan nama Sains Ilmu Informasi ya. Namun ada penolakan sebenarnya. Kalau di UI sendiri ini yang terjadi. Jadi intinya kalau penyelenggaraan program studi, ini buat info juga Bapak Ibu yang lain, intinya kita tidak overlap ya, tidak istilahnya memakan pasar prodi lain gitu ya. Jadi pemilihan kata, kenapa sih namanya kajian, kenapa enggak sains informasi gitu. Jadi memang ada penolakan dari waktu itu dari Senat UI, bahwa ketika namanya sains informasi akan berkaitan dengan sistem informasinya Fasilkom seperti itu. Nah, jadi ada istilah ada influence dari politik organisasi juga jadi Pak. Nah, terkait pemilihan kata antara studies dan science. Jadi selain dari politik organisasi, tapi juga sebenarnya dari konsep apa yang dipelajari sebenarnya. Ini jadi saya juga pernah terlibat diskusi ini. Jadi banyak juga nama program studi di luar itu namanya information studies, ada yang juga kajian-kajian ya. Jadi intinya ketika menggunakan kata studies identik dengan ilmu itu tidak berkembang gitu ya. Sedangkan kalau namanya science itu berarti bisa di science ya secara scientific ya. Jadi sebenarnya ada dua bisa dibilang dua pendapat sebenarnya. Jadi ada yang mempunyai ide bahwa kajian-kajian di bidang informasi ini maksudnya informasi ini hanya bisa dikaji dengan ilmu-ilmu yang dipinjam dari bidang lain. Karena terbukti tidak ada perkembangan ilmu yang terkait dengan ilmu perpustakaan atau ilmu kearsipan seperti itu Pak. Itu jadi pandangannya ya. Jadi kalau boleh saya juga pernah beberapa kali diskusi dengan Pak Sulis. Jadi itu alasannya kenapa ada nama istilahnya itu information studies atau archival studies. Jadi lebih ke arah karena tidak ada ilmu, dan ini juga terjadi ketika saya baca paper dari Amerika Serikat. Kenapa mereka tidak punya dedicated program tersendiri terkait archival science? Karena mereka juga tadi ya salah satu pendapatnya itu saya lupa ya. Jadi intinya lack of commitment. Jadi dari profesional asosiasi arsiparis di Amerika itu tidak ada komitmen. Jadi tidak ada ingin membuat teori-teori baru, karena kan banyak teori dari di bidang kearsipan itu minjem dari ilmu perpustakaan contohnya. Jadi makanya di sana ilmu kearsipan juga tidak berkembang secara jauh. Dan ini yang saya juga istilahnya saya lihat dari yang terjadi. Jadi kalau di sana itu kan mereka punya banyak law ya, ada law privacy law, ada open kalau di Eropa itu ada GDPR, itu untuk keterbukaan data. Nah, arsip itu banyak tidak dikaji karena memang sifatnya tertutup ya. Ada banyak arsip-arsip vital yang ketika suatu scholar, ilmuwan, misalkan dia studi, termasuk ini kawan-kawan saya waktu S3, itu jarang yang mengambil kearsipan karena mereka harus otomatis kalau mereka ingin mengkaji kearsipan, mereka harus berkecimpung di dunia kearsipan dan dia otomatis harus ada sesuatu yang dibuka gitu ke publik. Sedangkan kalau arsip itu identik dengan hal-hal yang sifatnya rahasia ataupun istilahnya itu yang tidak bisa diketahui orang banyak. Nah, jadi itu sebenarnya alasannya. Jadi yang terjadi di Amerika ataupun yang di paper di North America, banyak profesional arsip yang tidak berkomitmen untuk memajukan ilmu kearsipan, archival science. Nah, jadi banyak yang menggunakan kata istilahnya archival studies seperti itu. Jadi memang ada dua pendapat ya soalnya. Jadi memang ada yang studies, ada yang pro ke studies, ada yang pro ke science. Setidaknya ketika ada kemajuan ataupun ada kajian-kajian yang selalu ada keilmuan yang baru, itu saya rasa sih bisa juga ya nanti perkembangannya itu lebih ke arah science dibandingkan studies. Mungkin itu ya Pak ya. Ya, jadi terkait belum satu lagi terkait arsipologi ya Pak ya. Ini saya juga belum lahir. Kalau saya lihat ya Pak, tropical arsipologi. Jadi kayak kalau saya baca sekilas sepertinya kayak ini ya Pak ya, semacam jargon ya Pak ya. Maksudnya gini, kan Indonesia itu archipelago ya. Archipelago itu kepulauan negara bahari. Jadi kalau saya lihat mungkin ada kaitannya dengan arsip-arsip ke bidang bahari Indonesia mungkin ya Pak ya. Atau mungkin saya salah, tapi saya coba browsing. Iya, boleh.
Ini ada seorang, ya, mohon izin ya. Ada seorang ada seorang filsuf ya, Perancis kelahiran Aljazair ya. Itu namanya Jacques Derrida. Ya, dia juga menggunakan istilah arsipologi di dalam di dalam bukunya ya mengenai demam arsip ya, archive fever itu dia itu, dan itu banyak dikutip di seluruh dunia. Saya nggak tahu itu ya, tetapi menurut saya Nah, kemudian orang-orang Perancis itu suka menggunakan istilah archipologi. Terima kasih.
Baik, tapi mungkin ini bisa kita diskusikan ya. Jadi kalau saya sendiri mungkin ada kaitannya dengan sejarah dan arsipologi. Itu sebenarnya bisa dua makna ya, bisa dari arsipologi, bisa juga topologi dari archives gitu ya. Kalau secara etimologi gitu, kalau dari harfiah. Tapi saya juga kurang paham Pak terkait ini, nanti mungkin harus butuh kajian lebih lanjut ya. Lalu terkait satu lagi tadi lupa saya bahas, itu terkait preservasi ya Pak ya, preservator. Ya, preservator dan konservator. Jadi memang kita punya ahlinya Pak, itu Bu Yeni, konservator. Memang saya juga bertanya ke Ketua Prodi S1 Pak Ari kemarin untuk menyusun presentasi ini. Kira-kira kita juga punya mata kuliah preservasi dan konservasi. Namun saya ketika diskusinya itu, preservasi memang erat kaitannya dengan arsip ya Pak. Bahkan di ANRI pun jadi jabatan fungsional arsiparis. Tapi perkembangannya itu preservasi bisa dilakukan untuk media yang lain sebenarnya ya Pak ya. Jadi makanya saya masukkan tadi itu sebagai salah satu kompetensi yang diajarkan di mata kuliah di UI. Namun pada perkembangannya ilmu preservasi dan konservasi, karena saya juga mengajar mata kuliah preservasi pengetahuan Pak di manajemen pengetahuan di era digital. Jadi memang preservasi itu kalau mengalami perkembangan yang tidak hanya di arsip tapi juga di media-media lain, termasuk di era digital bagaimana kita bisa menyimpan pengetahuan dari tacit ke eksplisit, lalu juga menyimpan preservasi manuskrip. Mungkin kalau arsip kaitannya dengan manuskrip, tapi preservasi bisa sangat luas, bisa jadi pada keilmuan secara preservasi itu bisa ke macam-macam jadinya. Jadi memang kalau awalnya itu jabatan fungsional arsiparis, ya memang betul awalnya kaitannya dengan arsip-arsip atau naskah manuskrip kuno. Namun kalau sekarang kita mengajarkan juga preservasi yang sifatnya lebih luas. Mungkin itu ya Pak ya. Mudah-mudahan terjawab semuanya. Terima kasih banyak Pak Joko.
Oke, moderator, pertama saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada Pak Joko, dan terima kasih yang kedua pada semangatnya Pak Joko, ini luar biasa sekali. Berapa tadi sudah 75 itu atau lebih umurnya, alhamdulillah masih bahkan yang saya kira sebagian besar mungkin ya, atau sebagianlah terkalahkan oleh semangat dari Pak Joko. Karena itu juga memberikan semangat kepada saya bahwa harus mengikuti jejaknya Pak Joko. Terima kasih Pak Joko. Jadi pertanyaan pertama tadi, arsip tidak lagi netral, tidak lagi imparsial ya. Sejak post modern ya. Kalau saya melihat bahwa arsip ya dari awal sebelum munculnya paradigma baru, sebenarnya baru ini kan paradigma pengetahuan ya untuk membaca objek ilmu, objek kajian itu yang bukan sebenarnya saja arsip yang sekarang, tetapi arsip masa lalu itu sejak postmodern atau mungkin ya kurang lebih postkolonial ya. Jadi tidak lagi muncul satu dogma besar ya, grand naratif atau kebenaran umum ya, tapi ada kebenaran-kebenaran kecil. Sehingga dengan paradigma post modern ini yang melampaui paradigma positivisme ya, itu kemudian hampir segala bentuk itu dipertanyakan. Jadi di balik dari apa yang dilakukan itu tidak ada yang objektif totally, ya. Sehingga dengan begitu kemudian muncullah paradigma post kolonial atau post modern ini seperti konstruktivistik, interpretif, critical teori macam-macam. Output atau anak kandung dari post modern ini yang menginginkan sebuah proses kritis, ya, terhadap objek material apapun yang kita hadapi sebagai peneliti ataupun sebagai bahkan juga sebagai ilmuwan. Nah ini saya sebagai sebuah pendekatan, ya. Jadi tadi pendekatan critical studies, ya, terhadap netral terkait kenetralan dari arsip. Hampir sama juga dalam bidang perpustakaan, kan, seolah-olah kita berpikirnya apa yang dilakukan itu sesungguhnya adalah kepentingan umum, kepentingan yang sebenarnya untuk semua orang, gitu kan. Tapi di balik itu kan ada subjektivitas kita, ada ketidaknetralan kita, kemudian menggunakan satu kegiatan atau aktivitas, ya. Katakanlah misalnya kalau dalam perpustakaan penggunaan katalog, ya, klasifikasi lah misalnya, ya, klasifikasi gitu kan, atau yang lainnya, gitu kan. Kenapa misalnya kita ada DDC, kemudian ada klasifikasi yang lainnya, kenapa bukan hanya satu kalau itu memang itu apa yang dilakukan parsial, gitu kan. Artinya di sini menunjukkan bahwa di balik imparsialitas itu atau kenetralan itu sesungguhnya dia juga apa yang kita lakukan itu adalah ada unsur subjektivitas saat melakukan semua itu. Nah, itulah yang akan dikejar oleh teori-teori atau pendekatan-pendekatan paradigma postmodern ini, sehingga segala bentuk yang lahir, ya, yang kita anggap sebagai sebuah karan itu maka perlu kita kritik, ya. Kenapa itu terjadi? What is behind, ya? Karena ada sesuatu di balik itu. Nah, disitulah kita bisa menemukan ketidaknetralannya atau bahkan kita bisa melihat misalnya dengan pendekatan bisa juga dengan pendekatan positivistik atau kan, misalnya kita melihat tingkat imparsialnya berapa. Kalau misalnya masih dalam batas-batas error yang tidak terlalu jauh, gitu kan, katakanlah 95%, hanya ketidaknetralannya itu hanya katakanlah kurang dari 5%, makanya kan itu biasanya dia oke, itulah. Nah, tetap lagi-lagi bahwa tidak ada kenetralan 100% gitu, ya. Nah, dan ini saya kira memang pertanyaan penting dari Pak Joko, kita yang bergerak dalam bidang archival science ataupun archival studies tentu berupaya untuk menemukan kebenaran pada level yang tinggi, ya. Nah, tentu saja kebenaran level 100% ya tentu akan sulit kita temukan, ya, kecuali kebenaran dogmatik, ya, kebenaran wahyu, kebenaran agama, karena bukan kita yang membuat, ya, ini memang 100% kan, itu nggak bisa kita nyalahkan, kecuali mau jadi Tuhan, ya, itu bisa kemudian Tuhan, gitu kan, kita hanya percaya itu 100% benar, gitu kan. Beda dengan ilmiah, gitu kan, akademik kebenaran ilmiah kebenaran sains itu justru memang sangat relatif gitu, dan bahkan ya kebenaran ilmiah itu adalah kebenaran relatif, karena kebenarannya itu bisa terjadi hanya pada satu rentang waktu tertentu, dan pada rentang tertentu ketika tidak lagi bisa menjawab lagi kondisi sosioekonomi pada saat tertentu itu, maka dia akan terjadi anomali, dan di situ kebenaran ilmiahnya itu jadi berkurang, tetapi tidak mengurangi kebenaran ilmiahnya pada saat rentang waktu yang dilewati, karena dipercaya oleh masyarakat, didukung oleh masyarakat, dan itulah yang terjadi pada saat itu. Jadi ini saya kira satu poin yang sangat penting yang sebenarnya yang disasar oleh Pak Joko, bahwa segala bentuk objek ya yang merupakan produk dari manusia, ya sepanjang produk manusia pastilah itu ada celah ketidakimparsialan yang di situ, tetapi harus diuji sana ketidakimparsialan itu. Nah, itu seperti itu, kurang lebih seperti itu dari pertanyaan Pak Joko ya. Tentu saya yakin sebagai ya saya anggap grand chief ya Pak Joko ya, tentu punya wawasan jauh lebih luas ya daripada kami, karena waktu yang dilewati dengan membaca, bukan sekedar membaca tapi mengalami proses-proses itu ya, tentu ini akan menjadi sebuah kumpulan pengetahuan yang mungkin masih jauh daripada kami ya. Nah, kemudian yang kedua terkait dengan hoax. Nah, karena memang ini tadi salah satu konsep dari materi saya, itu anak kandung dari post-truth. Sebenarnya bisa juga ya, tapi meskipun juga ada beberapa penjelasan ya dari beberapa orang mengatakan sebenarnya kalau post-truth kan 2016-an kan mulai menjadi sebuah perbincangan, dan sebelumnya pun sebenarnya mungkin sudah ada juga istilah hoax, tapi kalau kita mau membuat sebuah periodisasi sesuatu yang kemudian terjadi lebih banyak pada saat itu, bukan berarti mengurangi nilai yang tingkat intensitasnya pada waktu tertentu itu, tidaklah mengurangi itu, tapi dengan membuat periodisasi bisa juga bahwa hoax ini adalah kandung dari postmodern ya, post-truth, bukan postmodern tapi post-truth ya, karena memang post-truth itu kan kebenaran objektif atau fakta objektif itu objektif itu terkalahkan oleh fakta-fakta sentimen, fakta jadi fakta persepsi gitu kan. Karena sesuatu yang yang kita persepsikan dan kita mengulang-ulang ya, apalagi karena ini sebenarnya hoax kan muncul ya, ataupun post-truth ini kan menjadi buah era yang sangat yang menjadi era yang telah didiskusikan ya di kita ya, kemudian menjadi istilah populer itu ketika teknologi ya, digitalisasi ataupun virtualitas menjadi sesuatu yang tidak bisa terpisahkan dari, sehingga transfer komunikasi informasi apapun itu menjadi lebih mudah, lebih cepat, lebih sangat cepat itu, sehingga kemudian fakta objektif itu bisa terkalahkan oleh persepsi kita atau opini. Jadi karena opini ya lebih cepat ya tersebar karena menyentuh perasaan sentimen kita, itu dia menjadi seolah-olah diyakini kebenarannya, sehingga dia lebih berpengaruh pada masyarakat ya, pada manusia post-truth ini dibandingkan dengan fakta objektif atau fakta realitas yang sesungguhnya daripada opini tadi. Kenapa? Karena lebih menyentuh perasaan ya, apalagi sebenarnya sasarannya itu kadang udah jelas, itu sudah ada memang kelompok-kelompok yang punya orientasi perasaan yang kalau disampaikan itu pasti menerima. Lagi kalau itu berhubungan dengan misalnya ideologi atau kepercayaan, pokoknya sesuatu yang menjadi kedirian kita dalam hal ideologi macam-macam itu, biasanya pasti karena menyentuh perasaannya seolah-olah itulah yang ditunggu-tunggu, maka kemudian itulah yang lebih benar daripada fakta yang rasional atau fakta yang sesungguhnya. Nah, disitulah karena post-truth itu terjadi karena begitu cepatnya komunikasi informasi, transfer informasi, dan opini lebih gampang daripada fakta realitas empirik itu, sehingga kemudian mampu mengalahkan. Karena itulah kira inline dengan tadi pertanyaan pertama itu, maka tentu critical thinking menjadi sangat penting post kolonial, bahwa setiap informasi ataupun apapun bentuknya, maka tentu tadi bukan sesuatu yang netral sama sekali ya. Nah, sehingga ini saya kira menjadi hal yang penting dan berkaitan antara pertanyaan pertama dan pertanyaan kedua tadi dari Pak Joko. Saya kira itu. Terima kasih. Mudah-mudahan tidak puas Pak Joko, dan saya yakin pasti tidak puas. Demikian.
Ya, terima kasih Prof. Nurdin atas jawabannya. We already passed our limit of time, and we have another session right afterwards. So I can deeply sorry that we cannot follow the next question from you, either from the online participant or offline participant. So as a moderator, I have to finish the main session, and for Alfred Chikomba, he will send us his recording, but the development of Fakultas Studies in Africa soon. So go back to the Master of Ceremonies to
to all of our distinguished speakers for their valuable presentations and insightful contribution. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a big round of applause. Now we respectfully invite Mr. Prabu and Mr. Raistiwar to return to your seats. Thank you.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the next agenda is the journal introduction, Jurnal Ilmu Informasi Perpustakaan dan Kearsipan, JIPK, translated as the Information Library and Archive Journal. It's a journal published by the Department of Library and Information Science, Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia. JIPK is a scholarly journal accredited by SINTA.
The introduction will be delivered in the form of a teaser video. We kindly invite you to watch the video.
Jurnal Ilmu Informasi, Perpustakaan, dan Kearsipan yang selanjutnya disebut JIPK adalah sebuah jurnal ilmiah yang diterbitkan oleh Departemen Ilmu Informasi dan Perpustakaan Fakultas Ilmu Pengetahuan Budaya Universitas Indonesia dengan nomor ISSN 25027409 online elektronik. Jurnal ini telah terakreditasi SINTA dan dapat diakses. Jurnal ini dikelola oleh tim editorial yang berasal dari dalam maupun luar negeri. Jurnal Ilmu Informasi, Perpustakaan, dan Kearsipan merupakan wadah publikasi bagi hasil penelitian, kajian konseptual, dan pemikiran kritis di bidang ilmu informasi, perpustakaan, dokumentasi, dan kearsipan. Sekaligus menjadi ruang pertukaran gagasan secara daring bagi para peneliti dan pemerhati bidang ilmu informasi, perpustakaan, dokumentasi, dan kearsipan. JIPK bertujuan untuk mendukung pengembangan keilmuan dan praktik profesional di bidangnya melalui penyebarluasan pengetahuan yang berbasis pada riset ilmiah. Artikel yang diterbitkan mencakup berbagai macam topik, seperti etika profesional pustakawan dan arsiparis manajemen perpustakaan, termasuk perpustakaan umum, perpustakaan khusus, perpustakaan sekolah, dan perpustakaan akademik. Literasi informasi layanan perpustakaan dan kearsipan, preservasi dan konservasi media informasi, bahan pustaka dan kearsipan, teknologi informasi di perpustakaan dan arsip, perpustakaan dan media sosial, mahadata dan analisis data, manajemen koleksi di perpustakaan dan arsip, akses terbuka, data terbuka, dan manajemen data, serta topik lain yang terkait dengan bidang ilmu informasi, perpustakaan, dan kearsipan. Jurnal ini terbuka bagi akademisi, peneliti, praktisi, pustakawan, dan arsiparis dari berbagai institusi di dalam dan luar negeri. Setiap naskah yang masuk akan melalui proses peer review untuk menjamin kualitas dan orisinalitas. JIPK terbit sebanyak 2 kali setahun, yaitu pada bulan April dan Oktober. Jurnal ini menerbitkan artikel ilmiah baik dalam bahasa Indonesia maupun bahasa Inggris, serta dapat diakses secara bebas. Penulis yang ingin mengirimkan naskah dapat mengikuti panduan penulisan yang terdapat pada web. Dengan visi menjadi rujukan utama dalam pengembangan ilmu informasi, perpustakaan, dan kearsipan di Indonesia, JIPK terus berkomitmen menghadirkan kontribusi ilmiah yang relevan, berkualitas, dan berdampak bagi kemajuan keilmuan dan praktik profesional. Kami tunggu tulisan Anda di JIPK.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached the conclusion of today's program. Once again, we kindly remind all participants who have not yet completed their registration to please do so at the registration desk in order to receive the conference e-certificate and materials. Kindly ensure that your registered email address is correct. In addition, please scan the barcode provided to access
on Document Records and Archives
with the theme
Archival Science and Archival Studies.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we are delighted to inform you that there is a special exhibition showbiz located at the corridor of Building 1, Auditorium, Faculty of Humanities, Universitas Indonesia. We warmly invite you to visit and enjoy the exhibition during the symposium.
Bapak, Ibu hadirin yang kami hormati, dengan senang hati kami informasikan bahwa terdapat pameran showbiz yang berlangsung di koridor Gedung 1 Auditorium Fakultas Ilmu Pengetahuan Budaya Universitas Indonesia. Kami mengundang Bapak Ibu sekalian untuk berkunjung dan menikmati pameran tersebut.
I am Sania Salsabila Wijaya.
And I am Melanie Megajuita. And with that, we bid you a farewell.
Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Peace and blessings be upon us all.
We would like to inform you that lunch is available for our VIP guests. Lunch is served in the corridor of the Auditorium 1 building, 1 in Universitas Indonesia.
Thank you.